The wind off Lake Michigan cut through Emma's coat as she stood staring at the dark water, city lights trembling across the surface like broken stars. Chicago felt big and lonely at the same time, a place where dreams started fresh, but hearts carried old wounds. Emma had come here to escape the quiet pain of her past, a small town breakup. Years of playing it safe, loving carefully, and losing anyway. She promised herself this city would be different. No rushing, no falling too fast, just peace. Peace arrived in the form of Noah Parker. She met him in a bookstore cafe on her second week in the city. He reached for the same novel she was holding, laughed softly, and apologized like it was the end of the world. His smile was warm, his voice calm, his eyes kind. They talked for an hour about books, childhood memories, and the strange beauty of Chicago winters. Noah worked in urban planning, loved old music, and walked slower than most people, like he. Didn't want to miss life rushing by. From that day on, Noah became part of Emma's routine. Morning texts, wishing her luck at work. Evening walks through quiet streets. Coffee dates that turned into dinner. With Noah, everything felt steady. He listened when she talked. He remembered small things. He noticed when she was tired and brought soup without being asked. Being with him felt like resting after a long journey. Emma's heart began to relax. "Okay," she thought. "Maybe this is what love is supposed to feel like." Then came Ethan Carter. She met him by accident at a train station when she dropped her phone and he caught it before it hit the ground. His hair was messy, camera hanging around his neck, eyes bright with curiosity. He smiled like he already knew her story and wanted to hear the rest. "Careful," he joked. "Chicago concrete is not friendly to phones." They laughed. Ethan was a photographer from New York, in town for a long project. He loved city life, people, movement, and moments that disappeared quickly. Where Noah felt like calm water, Ethan felt like a spark. They talked while waiting for their trains about travel, dreams, art, and the beauty of catching small details. Others ignored. He showed her photos he had taken around the city. Street musicians, kids laughing, old couples holding hands. Sunsets between tall buildings. Emma felt something shift inside her. Not love, not yet, but interest, energy. Life. Ethan asked if she wanted to grab coffee sometime and see more of the city through his camera lens. She hesitated, then said yes. At first, she told herself, it was harmless. Noah was her comfort. Ethan was just a friend. Nothing wrong with meeting new people in a new city. But things never stay simple when feelings grow. With Noah, Emma felt safe enough to breathe. With Ethan, she felt brave enough to dream. Ethan took her to rooftop views, busy markets, art, walls painted with stories, and tiny diners open late at night. He talked fast, laughed loud, and saw beauty in broken places. Being around him made Emma forget time. But when she went home at night, it was Noah's voice she wanted to hear. Noah asked about her day, listened closely, and told her about his plans for the future, saving money, building something real, staying in Chicago long term. He spoke about love like it was a commitment, not a moment. Emma nodded and smiled. Yet her thoughts wandered to Ethan's smile, his passion, his excitement. Her heart was slowly dividing. She tried to push the feeling away. She told herself attraction fades. But it didn't. It grew stronger. Soon she found herself checking her phone for Ethan's messages while sitting beside Noah, laughing at Ethan's jokes, then feeling guilty minutes later, holding Noah's hand while thinking about the freedom she felt with Ethan. She hated herself for it. One evening, Emma walked alone by the lake, watching waves crash softly against the shore. The city hummed behind her, cars' voices distant. Music while her chest felt heavy. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She didn't want to choose. She just wanted everything to feel right. Her phone buzzed. Message from Noah. "I made dinner. Wish you were here." Her lips trembled. Another buzz. A message from Ethan. "The skyline looks unreal tonight. Want to see it with me? Emma stared at the screen, heart racing. Two men, two feelings. Two different futures. One offered safety, one offered excitement. She felt pulled between peace and passion, between comfort and curiosity. She knew answering either message meant moving closer to something real. Ignoring both meant standing still. But standing still was becoming impossible. Tears filled her eyes as she typed nothing. She placed the phone in her pocket and looked. Back at the dark water, this was not what she planned. She came to Chicago to heal. Instead, she was falling in two directions. For the first time in her life, Emma realized something that scared her. One love was no longer enough to fill her heart. And the choice she was avoiding was already choosing for her. The city lights flickered like uncertain hope as the wind whispered across the lake. And Emma stood there knowing that whatever came next would change everything. Emma's life slowly split into two worlds, and at first she told herself she could balance them. Days belonged to work, and evenings often belonged to Noah. While late nights and weekends sometimes drifted toward Ethan, she moved through the toast-it. If they moved through the toast-eats, like it moved through. With the city, like someone carrying a beautiful secret that also felt like a heavy stone in her chest. With Noah, life felt calm and warm. They cooked simple meals together in his small apartment. Music played softly while he chopped vegetables and told stories about his childhood. He laughed in a quiet way, the kind that made Emma feel safe. After dinner, they sat on the couch talking about dreams, about growing older together, about what love meant. Noah believed love was choosing someone every day, even when life got hard. Emma listened and smiled, but inside she felt torn. Because when she wasn't with Noah, she was thinking about Ethan. Ethan moved through life like a breeze, quick and free. He texted her photos, he took her around the city, sunsets, rainy streets, strangers smiling. He invited her on spontaneous adventures. Sometimes they rode trains just to explore new neighborhoods. Sometimes they walked for hours talking about hopes, fears, and the kind of life they wanted. With Ethan, Emma laughed louder. She felt younger, braver, more alive. He didn't talk about the future much. He talked about the present, about moments that mattered right now, about not waiting to live. Emma felt something deep growing between them, not spoken, not touched, but felt, and that made it even harder. At night, when Emma lay alone in her apartment, guilt washed over her. She thought of Noah trusting her, believing in what they were building. She thought of Ethan looking at her like she was something special, like she had brought light into his world. She whispered to herself that she would choose soon, tomorrow, next week, after things became clearer. But tomorrow kept moving away. One afternoon, Noah took her to a small park filled with autumn leaves. They sat on a bench watching kids play. "I've been thinking about us," Noah said softly. Emma's heart beat faster. "I know it hasn't been long, but when I'm with you, it feels right. I don't want to rush you, but I want you to know I'm serious about you." His words were honest and full of hope. Emma swallowed hard. "I care about you too," she said. It was true, but it wasn't the whole truth. That evening, Ethan invited her to a rooftop where the city stretched endlessly around them. Wind lifted her hair as lights blinked across the skyline. "Ever feel like life moves too fast?" Ethan asked. "All the time," Emma replied. He smiled. "That's why I try to feel everything while I can." They stood close, not touching, but close enough to feel warmth. Emma's breath caught. Her heart wanted to lean in. She didn't. But the moment stayed with her long after she went home. The secret began to change her. She jumped when her phone buzzed. She checked who was calling before answering. She erased messages she felt guilty about. She started living carefully, like someone hiding something precious and dangerous at the same time. Some days she told herself she would end one of them, but every time she imagined losing Noah, her chest hurt. Every time she imagined losing Ethan, her stomach dropped. She held on to both, and the weight grew heavier. No one noticed the change. "You seem distracted lately," he said one night while they washed dishes. "Just tired," Emma replied, quickly. But her eyes couldn't meet his. Ethan noticed too. "You disappear sometimes," he said during a late walk by the river. "Feels like there's a whole part of you I don't see." Emma forced a laugh. Everyone has secrets. But the words tasted bitter. Because this secret wasn't harmless anymore. It was growing, twisting her heart. One weekend, Noah planned a quiet movie night, complete with homemade popcorn and candles on the table. He held her hand during the film, squeezing gently whenever something emotional happened. "I'm really happy with you," he whispered. Emma closed her eyes. Guilt rushed through her like a wave. Later that same night, Ethan sent a message. "Wish you were here. The city feels empty without you." Her chest tightened. She typed back slowly. "Miss you too." The moment she sent it, shame followed. She wasn't cheating in the way people usually meant. But emotionally, she was. Already crossing lines. Days blurred together. Smiles mixed with worry. Laughter mixed with tears. Emma lived between two hearts, pretending she could keep both safe. But deep down, she knew love doesn't stay hidden forever. Truth always finds light, and the longer she waited, the more painful that truth would become. The city continued, moving around her, busy and bright, while Emma stood in the middle of her own storm. Trying to hold two loves without breaking either one, not realizing the breaking had already begun.